Last weekend in the Portland LGBTQIA self-defense class, we practiced having a casual conversation with a focus on personal story or history. We'll talk about why in a second. To do this exercise yourself, you just start having a casual conversation with your training partner, like how are you feeling, what's your name, that sort of stuff. And while you're doing that, you start also training a physical martial art technique, whatever the topic of the day is. So like last weekend, we were working on defensive framing to create a little bit of space. And while you're working on that physical technique, you and your partner are gonna try and keep that conversation going with no pauses. So you're just gonna like motor mouth or be ready to ask a lot of questions. Combining the physical technique with the verbal technique is difficult, but that difficulty is why this exercise is worth exercising, and it will get easier with practice so that you'll be able to start doing this in your normal life with someone who is not a willing training partner. And then last week I also added an additional verbal task, which was to communicate something about your own personal history during that conversation, specifically where you've come from. And it could be on any time scale, so it could be something about where you grew up or where you moved from last year. It could even just be where you ate this morning. And this kind of conversation is totally awkward, especially if the other person isn't actively asking you for that information, which again is why I'm having people do this as an exercise to become comfortable talking casually about their own histories and not just relying on being able to talk about their hobbies or their special interests or politics or the weather. Those things are off the table for this exercise. So why am I having people do this? Why train verbal techniques instead of just physical martial arts in a world that is so dangerous, especially for people like us? What about telling someone your personal story has any relevance to self-defense, right? Why is it important to be able to converse without taking any pauses? I'd like you to make some guesses in the comments and then also read them, see what thoughts other people are having about it. And then once I have enough answers and you've taken some time to think about it, I will make the next video.